Well, good evening, everyone. Uh, kind of had a little bit of a back and forth with the starting time tonight. I wasn't sure whether I was going to be in here. Uh, Oops, I didn't mean for that to come up. But since I did, I'm going to discuss this here in just a second. Yeah, Andy, Amber, hello. Now, you're going to notice that there's a document on the screen. I had planned on putting this up after my introduction. Go get mommy. But since I've got it up here, I might as well talk about it. Where's my mouse? This is one of the discovery documents that I was waiting on. Um, and what this is um, the latest discovery that's coming into the case. And let's see if I wanted to make this readable if I could. But this was just released to me. It's one of 6 documents that I'm waiting on. And what this is they are going to bring into discovery um, the office of the medical examiner's name has been changed. But we have all of these articles. Um, How a custody fight plus QAnon turned deadly. This was, I believe, put out by the Daily Beast. Wall Street Journal article. Deep South News Digest. Uh, Another news article, 2 actually, with the same title. Florida man who questioned government power slain. Another news article, how a custody fight plus QAnon turned deadly. Ludicrous QAnon conspiracies, some satanic. Um, the positivity, true adventures of the alleged Kentucky and update woman arrested in Lowndes County under charges and states supplemental discovery exhibit Neely Petrie Blanchard case number and so forth. So basically, all these articles that were written about the arrest and the stuff that came through on them. Hi, Ashley. Welcome to the stream. So that was preempting somewhat uh, what I was going to talk about tonight. But this basically means that all these articles that were written about Neely Blanchard is coming into discovery. That for whatever reason, uh, the the state was compelled. That's coming over the ear, dear. Okay, yeah, someone's getting phone calls or whatever going on back there. Anyway, so let me remove this from the thing since we've discussed that. But there are 6 more um, pieces of evidence coming through. But what I want to do is I want to play a video clip. Now, Tim Holmseth has decided to parse through my live streams of the calls that uh, Neely Blanchard made. In this particular vehicle, within hours of the quote unquote incident. which basically is when um, Chris Hallett was shot. Now, for some reason, Timmy only played a portion of the video. He's gone through and systematically editing the uh, video. So I decided I'm going to share it here. Good evening, Toot Sweet. Welcome to the chat tonight. And um, I'm going to play it. Also, one thing that's come to my attention, apparently Butterfly left a message with somebody who passed it on to me that she was happy that these videos are coming out. And I'm glad that Butterfly appreciates that. My only intent is to get the truth out about what's going on in this case. I am not making a judgment either way on whether Neely is innocent, guilty, innocent by reason of insanity, or what have you. That's up to the jury. All I'm doing is reporting on what is going on and how this might look. But in the end, it's the jury that's going to decide who did what or who did not do what. And I'm kind of curious why these newspaper or these media outlets were brought in as the evidence, but it is what it is. And good evening, Rebecca. Now, this part of the conversation that Neely was having, and I do have to make a correction because it's going to come out in my introduction. It got kind of screwed up. Uh, I had said that the person was Kathy Cunningham, and that's not correct on my part. It was I don't, Cunningham did come up, but it apparently is not this individual. Um, and so there's that mistake. I believe the name is Kathy Watkins, but it's a woman from Kentucky that Neely has known, basically trusts her explicitly, from what I understand. And uh, she is, basically a Trump supporter and all that, which is no problem. But so Neely called her almost right away after this happened. And so I am going to pick up here where she began to explain why, what happened, why, and what she believes in. So here we go. And let me, before I start, um, put this in theater mode and see if we get audio. It's November the 15th, 2020. I am in Marion County, Florida. I live in Pensacola, Florida. My husband's in the United States Coast Guard. We live on the Naval Air Station, Pensacola. I came down here a few days ago because I have been working for over 3 years with Kirk's Law Corner. During this time, my daughter was stolen in 2010. I have been working for and help. Okay, Patriot Blanchard. My husband's in the United States Coast Guard. Going to point out something here. You're going to hear areas of silence in the video that are in the recording. This is actually an audio recording. Uh, the state redacted Chris Hallett's name from this court recording when it was given to me. This is standard operating procedure with the court, not to give out the name of the victim. Not sure why, because everybody knew about this the second it happened, practically. I mean, the minute it went out over the radio, we all knew about it. So this so you're going to hear a lot of blank spots in here, and that's because either the witness or Chris Hallett's name is going to be deleted. And you're right, Tennessee. This is going to come out. So I'm going to continue.
We're stationed on NAS Pensacola. My military ID that I keep in my car and my foreign escape, my license plate number is E-Cause. It is stolen out of my vehicle. And I also just realized that I left my purse at house. My purse has all my identification on there, in there.
Now, do you hear that kind of by Kathy? This is when Kathy realized that Neely blew it because now her purse and all her identification was left at a crime scene, at the scene of a murder. That's just one more problem that Neely had to overcome.
So I have no identification on me. If I get pulled over on 75, I'm willing to get out of the car and put my hands out the window. I will throw the gun out the window. I don't want the gun. I'm not going to.
Okay, I don't know if you guys caught that, but she knows she's being pursued by law enforcement. Why would somebody say they're going to put their hands out of the car? And then she says, very important, I am going to throw the gun out of the window. This is where Neely admits to having the gun. Now, unlike Tim Holmseth, who said that I may have stolen the gun from Phil McConnell, taken the gun down to Chris Hallett's house and shot Chris Hallett, right here on this portion of this recording, Neely Blanchard stated that she would throw the gun out of the window. Why would Neely take a gun with her leaving Chris Hallett's house if it was not hers, if she did not use the gun? This is where it shows that Timothy Charles Holmseth is not an investigative reporter.
And I need help. I need help to find out what's going on with my children. Because they are being abused and other people are too. Other children are being abused. He's exploited my love of Jesus. He's exploiting everything that I love in my God and my journey with Jesus. He's exploited it all and turned it around to evil. I am a good person. Bad things happen to me in family court. He has been on Kirk's Law Corner for 3 years telling the public that this is unlawful and should not be happening. It should not be happening. He has been behind everything that's going on in our country right now. The riots, everything. They're being incited. They want chaos. They don't want peace. I had to protect myself and I had to protect my girls. He told us not to wear seatbelts because that's bondage. It's just, he's been mind screwing us all. Victims are in jail right now in
All right, that last piece right there is her confession to murdering Chris Hallett. If that part of the recording is played to the jury, it's over. And this is why I believe that Tim Holmseth and the people over on Telegram are trying to get this shut down. They do not want these recordings out there. They have tried everything they possibly could to prevent these recordings from being put out to the public. Now, Kathy Watkins has the original of this recording. If she has not turned over her spy pen to the authorities, or if she copied the original audio of this conversation, she is legally entitled to put this on the internet. It's her property. She has a right to use it to get Neely's messages out. I'm not here to argue whether or not the things that Neely says about child trafficking and what's going on in Kentucky and in her situation. I'm here to present what is being put out there by the court in discovery. It's up to people to make up their own mind. But rather than Tim Holmseth link to this website, and also the refusal of Tim Holmseth to play the entire presentation, the recordings that I put up here, he is doing a disservice to his uh excuse me. I got distracted reading your information there. But he would be best serving his audience to let them hear all of these videos uncut and let them decide for themselves what they are going to believe in or not believe in. Um, Kirk Pendergrass's name was mentioned on here, and in the piece that I just played, she confessed that she had to do something to stop Chris Hallett, that she did not intend to harm Shannon or her daughter. So there's that. Now, I don't know if Shannon has heard these recordings since they came out, or if she heard them at the time Kathy Watkins had them. But it's in the court records. Anybody can go and get it, and they can hear it for themselves. I put it up here unedited. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, one clip got played twice. I'm going to have to redo these, and I'm going to do the conversation separate so that uh, people understand what's going on. Let me go on just a little bit more with this.
I tried to call 911. He has it blocked in his house. He's running a server out of Marion County, Florida. I'm driving my car right now, so I don't have the exact address. I'm recording this with Kathy Cunningham. There are so many people that know what's going on. I am the only one out of that has been involved with Kirk Small Corner and Econ that has all the information on them. I have every single document from the very beginning.
Okay, I want to. Now, somebody has told me that the woman on the other end of this call is Kathy Watkins. Yet, in this portion of the call, she mentioned Kathy Cunningham. Now, I don't know if she misspoke or if there is a Kathy Cunningham, but this is where this mention that I did in the Mobilethon recording I did prior to this, um, that it was Kathy Cunningham. So I don't know what to say. I don't know if there's both a Kathy Watkins and a Kathy Cunningham, or if this is actually Kathy Cunningham. But regardless of who it is, she has the original recording if she saved it. And if it's been put up on the internet someplace and somebody can find a link, you can then watch the recording and have all the names in there and see if it is in fact uh, Chris Hallett, whose name comes out on the tape or on the recording.
I feel that my life is in danger. I know everything of what Eclod and Kirk's Law Corner has done. There has been many people exploited in this operation, this project. I had to stop it. The evil people will not win. I believe in a fair trial. I believe in our Constitution. I believe in freedom and not tyranny. We are living under tyranny. Our children are being abused. No one is helping. And the people that supposedly were helping were not the good guys. They were the bad guys. E-Class and Kirk's Law Corner, and I am the only one that has all the documentation. All the documentation is on Naval Air Station, Pensacola, at my house. I have 5 states involved: Pennsylvania, Georgia, Kentucky, South Carolina, and Florida. That is how many states have been involved in the financial exploitation and the stealing of our children. I prayed about it and I thought about it before I did it. I did not just do it. I am not going to let children get abused. If something happens to me, my only wish is that my story comes out. This has to be exposed. I don't care how high the levels are. I have been exploited and so have my children. Like I said, I tried to call 911 to tell them that, but my 911 would not work, and I got a call back on my phone from this number. Marion County, 352-732-9111.
Okay, I'm going to explain something here so that people understand what happened because Tim got this wrong. 911 normally does not work that well on mobile telephones because 911 wants to know where you are at. If you're calling in an accident, if you're calling in uh, something, they want to know about it. And also, she was driving in a car. She may have got switched in between towers or something. And what happens is if 911 gets an operator gets her call in, and for whatever reason they can't get her, they will call her back. And since she has caller ID on her phone, she got the non emergency 911 number that the operators will use to call you back. I've had this happen when I've reported accidents and uh, the call drops. I get a call, but it gives that exact same number because I reported an accident in Marion County one time that somebody had driven off the road. That's how the system works. And so Tim Holmseth had it wrong again because he doesn't investigate. He just interprets and makes up stuff. And that's what happened here.
They're trying to take out 911 so people cannot call the emergency. I don't know what else bigger they're planning, but I need to be able to talk to someone
Geez, another laptop.
I'm doing this confession because I need someone to have this and get this to the right person. And no, don't let them do this to your kids. You have to stop them from doing this. This is going on. Telling me that he was going to have the police come get me and the girls. I don't think they would ever reunite us. I think they would have killed us. That's when I knew that something is not right. He has been telling me that the U.S. Marshals are involved in all of these things. That is not true. I have been exploited, and so have my children. I've left in my car. God told me to stand up to all evil, no matter what it is. And if anything's worth dying for, it's our children. You cannot let this evil go on anymore. It's going on. They're taking over all the systems. Very bad things are planning on happening. I've worked with him for a long, long time. That's all that I've done is Kurt's Law Corner and clause. But I just found out what they were doing, and I had to stop them. I've been persecuted already by the states. They've stolen my children. I don't know where to go to be safe. This is going on everywhere. Human trafficking. Okay,
We cutting out.
girl, my phone will not let me call 911.
Really?
Okay, and that portion of the call that Tim Holmes says will not play, Neely Blanchard confessed to the murder of Chris Hallett more than once, called E-Clause a fraud, said she was exploit. And so we have a troll in here. I don't know what the hell this means, but we have someone in here by the using Monoxide's handle, making a joke out of the murder of Chris Hallett. This is the kind of people that support Timothy Holmseth. Now, I don't know who is behind that phony username, but these people don't care that a 91-year-old woman has managed to outlive her son because he got a woman so angry at him that he shot her. She shot him. And this is something that I don't understand is why on earth would Tim Holmseth and these people exploit the death of Chris Hallett with these ridiculous conspiracy theories unless they are trying to cover something up. I don't know why they did what they did, but it's wrong. They're, uh, yeah, they're just, I basically, I'm at a loss of words. Ever since this stuff started with Timothy and saying that, you know, somebody else besides, uh, Neely committed this murder. Um, and that's not the real monoxide. Somebody is screwing around again. Monoxide is in jail right now. Um, it's just, whoever's doing that doesn't care about the fact that Chris Hallett's murdered. He doesn't want justice for that. And okay, it's Kathy Watson, Watson. And back in 2018, she had approved of uh, Kirk Pendergraph's, and now she's been sold something different. And machine machine operator, studied business management. So this could be her, but she has all the information, and she knows who was doing what. So it's up to her if she wants to tell the truth about what's going on, or if she wants to let Timothy Holmseth um, exploit Neely Blanchard once again. If the truth comes out, it might be to Neely's advantage. Um, I'm sure that her lawyer has told her what needs to be done to get her the least damaging result from all this. So we'll have to see where this goes. Uh, but I just, you have these trolls come over here and disrupt this conversation. And it's disgusting, but these are disgusting people. You know, Nobody cares over there. They do not care about um, Chris Hallett. He only plays small portions of the audio. He doesn't want what I just played out there. And somebody asked over there, so we can all go to a court before a trial and get the evidence. Yes, that's called freedom of information. You put in a public records request. If the state decides to release the records, you can get it. Anybody in this country can do it. That's called the First Amendment, freedom of information. Look it up. And they don't want the truth out there. Now Tim Holmseth is investigating information regarding Susan Blanchard, the mother of Neely Petrie Blanchard. Now, what is he going to come up with Susan Blanchard? And he says he's investigating Fireman John. So now Fireman John's being attacked again. He is trying to sidetrack from the case. Why is Timothy Holmseth attempting to poison any potential jury in this case, bringing up these things that don't belong? Quite a number of people tried to get Neely an attorney. Knowles did. A lot of people did. But, these people are over there think it's funny about what's happening with this case. It's really weird. But it doesn't matter what they put on Telegram or any of these other social media. It's going to be the jury that is going to decide what happens to Neely Blanchard. There's three possibilities: guilty, innocent by reason of insanity, mistrial. Three solutions. The fourth, not guilty, can't apply here. She's already admitted to shooting Chris Hallett. The forensic evidence is there. Um, yeah, it's quite correct. This is going to create. I think this is why Tim Holmseth is trying to sidetrack the coverage of this case, because he's knee deep in knee claws. And uh, if I remember correctly, and I'm going to go back through the discovery, I think he's on the witness roster, a potential witness to be called in this case. Um, so I will either confirm or deny that one. If I don't find his name on the early witness roster, then that's going to be an error on my part. But it seems to me that I had seen where his name came up somewhere. So we'll see. But this, no, Catherine, he did not mention uh Holmseth in any of her uh, recordings that I've aired. His name has not come up yet. But they're still coming out with discovery. This discovery that I reported on tonight was just put out, and I took the page down. But they are bringing in all the news articles about Neely Blanchard that happened, the Daily Beast, and so forth. And that's correct. He does not want the confession out there. It's going to be out there. It's already out there now because, I put it out there. Um, and this is only the tip of the iceberg. I got so much stuff coming in that it clogged up my computer. There's 23 gigabytes of evidence that I received. And this is the largest amount of evidence I've ever gotten in a criminal case. And so I'm having to go through it what I'm able to. I have a very busy schedule and I'm having to work around it to do this. But Holmseth goes over there on his ridiculous thing and gives out false information. So, what can you do? Yeah, if he's gonna lie, he's gonna lie. You can't stop him from lying if he wants to lie. And the connections got jammed, and I just think this comes from Neely Blanchard not understanding how mobile 911 systems work. It varies from state to state. But unless you set up your phone properly, you are not going to be able to do a 911 call correctly. And I believe Shannon had the same problem because she was using a 911 on a mobile phone. She was not using a landline. When you use a mobile phone to make 911 calls, it gets complicated. That's quite correct. There are people that were trying to get through to Neely and make her understand that E-Clause was a fraud, and she didn't listen. She was The problem here is that Neely was desperate. She's been fighting with CPS since 2010, maybe even earlier, to keep custody of her children. And she had nowhere to turn. Somehow she got hooked up with E-Clause, and E-Clause made things horrifically worse for Neely. And what happened in Marion County is the result of this. And this is a danger when you get mixed up in disputes between a guardian of a child, be it a mother or a guardian, and CPS. You're going to get caught in the crossfire. And this is literally what happened with Chris Hallett. He got caught in the crossfire. He made promises that he didn't, and not only was not able to keep, but he had no intention of keeping his promises. Neely finally figured it out and shot him. So, so now we're going to have a trial in less than a month, and we are going to find out what happened. And Neely will find out her fate after the jury comes back. Yeah, the that weird chemical came in there again that these people have no idea what it is, and it's just craziness that got put into her head. And all the FBI was doing was pointing out that this stuff is not true. And Timothy is trying to salvage this. Maybe he figures if he can get away with this for another month, um, this depends on the jury. Uh, I do not think that the state is going to go for the death penalty. Um, she could get life in prison without parole, or depending on the Brady instructions, she might get charged with voluntary manslaughter or various degrees of murder, where it would go from 20 years to life and then backwards. If she is found to be innocent by reason of insanity, she would be institutionalized in a secure institution, mental institution, and her stay would depend on those that are treating her. It would be unlikely, however, that she would get out of a mental institution for a minimum of 20 years. And when she does get out of the institution and is uh, said to be sane, they could possibly put her into regular prison. But I don't think that's going to happen. But it's a very, very, very long shot for Neely to get a verdict of innocent by reason of insanity. I don't think it's going to happen. Uh, that's partially correct, but what what normally happens is, and Verizon has been trying to get this thing straightened out, is now they're trying to use the transponder pings from the cell phone to give a location so that when somebody calls an emergency in of this nature, they wouldn't have this problem of uh, not being able to get through. Nobody is jamming 911. If they were jamming 911, they'd be jamming her entire phone. You can't cherry pick what you're going to jam. The technology doesn't work that way. Um, and so it's a possibility that there was a configuration problem between Verizon and her phone. She may not have understood how to set it up. I don't know. I'm going to be checking into a few things in that regard to find out exactly what caused this problem. Um, I have a feeling I know what it is, but I want to check and make certain of it before I give a definite answer. But it's a configuration issue. Is about the closest I can come right now. Um, that's right, Tennessee. This thing with the endercomb, however you pronounce that stupid thing, um, it's bunk. It's scientific bunk. Uh, this so-called theory has been debunked every time it comes up, and these people still believe it. It's amazing. You know, it's just as goofy as the theory that the kids are being used to make diamonds. People have no idea how diamonds are created. It takes eons, billions of years, millions of years to make a natural diamond. Now, you can make synthetic diamonds, but you don't make it out of kids. You make it out of petroleum based chemicals. People need to learn how to read. Yeah, Timmy's read about it on all these QAnon pages, and he picks it up and puts it out there. And it shows how much of an idiot he is, because this stuff simply is not true. And anybody that's taken chemistry, biology, um, anthropology, all this stuff understands that this is all crap. You got these high school dropouts running around telling people this crap. They don't have any idea what they're talking about. And, the net result is what happened to Nellie Blanchard. She got sucked into a bunch of lies. When she found out she got sucked into the lies, she got mad and shot Chris Hallett. It's that simple. And Timmy's going to be over there. He's going to keep churning these idiotic conspiracy theories, and it's eventually people are going to find out when this case goes to trial. That's when people are going to start to realize that they have been screwed. That what Tim Holmseth says is false. It's always been false. Chris Hallett is going to be shown to be for the fraud he is, and you know it's going to be the end of this. The truth is finally going to come out. So I'm going to see if I can finally get this thing to work right. Yeah, she does. Uh, Now, the recording that I just played the excerpt was from when she was driving to Georgia from Chris Hallett's house. And subsequent recordings that were made on the spy pen came from when Neely was in jail. You know that because that damn commercial comes on for a minute and a half before they'll connect the call. This is a company that operates these things for uh, inmates and people that want to either call them by phone or they offer a video visit or text. And it's expensive, but this is how people communicate with inmates. But people don't seem to understand that this stuff is recorded. And so there's a lot that is recorded of conversations between Neely and other people to and from the jail. And a lot of it is under seal right now because of what's contained. Well, that's probably true. Uh, because remember, Neely was having problems with the state of Kentucky. Um, and the clue as to how all this came together is she was on Facebook trying to look for groups that discussed the CPS thing, and she came across Chris Hallett somehow, and it's possibly through Randy Erickson. Now, in something that Tim Holmseth put out, um, that she had information to give to the defense, not to the prosecution, but to the defense, if Neely would sign a release for the material. And as I pointed out earlier, anything the defense gets has to be turned over to the prosecution. They can't hold it in a safe to deposit somewhere and pull a Perry Mason on the prosecution. They have to hand that information over to the prosecution. And so it's more than likely that since the law enforcement heard that recording to where she says she's got evidence in the Pensacola, that they went to Pensacola and got the evidence. And so that's the situation there. And he's more than likely going to have to, Catherine, because they did a deposition of Kirk Pendergrass in Idaho about this case. You know, his name is mentioned in this clip that I played. His name is mentioned in Discovery. So Kirk Pendergrass is going to have to account for his part in all this. He is probably going to be called as a witness in Florida, and he is going to be questioned about E-Clause and about his interactions with Neely Blanchard. Um, and the defense is going to use people like Kirk Pendergrass to try and get as easy of a situation as he possibly can from her Neely by blaming it on these other people. And Randy probably doesn't have it. I don't know why she wrote that to the prosecution because now the prosecution is looking at her as a possible um, witness. She may wind up coming to Florida and testify under oath. You know, maybe that's what she wants. I don't know. Oh, yeah. It's all one big thing. PPTF and E-Clause are all intertwined. And so is the Children's Crusade. You know, a lot of people are going to get caught up in this by the time it's done because they were active in all of this. And So, that's what's going to be coming about in the coming weeks. Mark, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you coming in. But I would ask that people, if they have not done so, please like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and share. And um, put the links over on these various social media sites. Since Tim is too much of a coward to do it, he won't link my site to all of his social media accounts because he's scared of it. And so just spread the word out there. It's not so much to benefit me as to let people know that these files exist. You can copy the files and put them in your own name. I just ask that you make it complete so that people have a true understanding of what's going on. Now, there's parts that, if you're trying to make a specific point, like the fact that Neely did make a confession, yes, you can edit the video because these videos are very long and very repetitive, and some of the recordings are of more or less just personal stuff going on between Neely and Kathy, whatever her last name is, and some of the other people she talked to, like this Knowles individual. And so I would like, if it's at all possible, to get the unredacted calls that were made that came up that are in the uh, case file, because the if the files were published online prior to the evidence being there, then it's perfectly legal to do it. If you have a recorded phone call outside the state of Florida, you can put it up on social media. Now, Neely gave consent to distribute that, so it's there's two-party consent with that phone call. Uh, Not really necessary since one party is out of the state of Florida, but still, Neely Blanchard gave her permission for that recording to be put out there. Uh, yes, he did. I don't know a heck of a lot about Ronnie Knowles. Tim mentioned, I doubt he's a Holmseth follower because Tim Holmseth named Knowles as one of the people that shot Hallett. Um, it's I've been mentioned as someone who shot Chris Hallett. Tim Holmseth accused me of that. He keeps bringing up this Whitey Bulger crap. Uh, but he also said that I stole the gun from Phil McCown's, brought it down here to Florida, and shot Chris Hallett. Somehow I managed to get a gun out of a house I've never been to in my life, got it through airport security in multiple airports, went down to a house I'd never been in my life, found the right side of the duplex, shot Hallett, and, you know, what happened to the gun? Why did Neely Blanchard, on this very recording tonight that I played, confess to killing Chris Hallett if she didn't do it? And how did she get the gun? And I can't say for sure because I can't remember, but it's been said that the gun Neely Blanchard used is the military issued gun belonging to her husband. That she somehow had her husband's gun with her all this time, and that's what was used to kill Chris Hallett. Can't say for certain until I look at the evidence, but it's a possibility to be looked at. Um, okay, that's the answer to the Zimbabwe question. And so, anyway, uh, but that's it. I've been an hour into this. I took time out of my sleep time. I've got another one of these early wheels up because I got something going on. But I would like you people to pay close attention to my Twitter account. Make sure that you've all got the notifications, because if everything goes as planned, uh, the 27th, I'm going to have, let's say, information to give you folks. So I would stay tuned. Um, have a good night, everybody. Have a good day tomorrow. Hope everything works out for everybody and anything that they want to do. And that's funny. I will see you all again. Until then, have a good one. And I hope I sign off right tonight.